Welcome to BK Academy of Chess. This is Black Knight. It's black to move. How should black play this position? Rook to f5. The king's too close. It attacks the rook. The rook takes the pawn. Now, how does white win this game? Exactly, he pushes the pawn. The rook cannot get behind the pawn and nor in front of the pawn. The game is over. Now the answer becomes obvious. The rook cannot do it alone. Black needs its king. White proceeds to assist the pawns. Black king keeps pace. Now this is critical here. How should black play? Exactly, he attacks the weak pawn, forcing white's king over to protect the pawn, giving way for black's king to approach the pawns. Now we could have something like this. And how should black play? Exactly. The king is in position to stop the promotion. And we have check from behind, and white will lose this other pawn. Now we looked at king to g6, but let's look at a better attempt. And that's right, pawn to g6. Because with two pawns side by side on the 6th rank, it is almost impossible to stop. However, in this position, black can. So how should black play this position? This is critical. He has to play rook to f1 with check. And of course, this gives way for the black king to approach the pawns. Now, if white pushes, black prevents the promotion. Now, if the king tries to scamper around the side, black steps in front. And what can white do from here? If he tries to step forward, how should black play? I hope you didn't miss that. Now, if he pushes his pawn, the answer is obvious. He takes the pawn and checkmates the king. Okay, now let's back it up a little bit. It's black to move. How should black play? We already looked at this. Black attacks the weak pawn. Now, you thought this out, and you saw how black can win, right? But all of a sudden, white throws you a curveball. And now you see yourself fighting just to get a draw. And that's what black has here. He has a draw, the position perfectly. Now, when you think you're going to win, and then all of a sudden something like this happens, and you see that if you play the rook to f1, that white still has the win, this is where people flip the board and resign. But what you need to do is maintain your composure and analyze this position, right? And you may see the Saavedra position. Now you know it's a difficult win for white. So we went over that. If you haven't, I would advise you to go over that video, the Saavedra position. Or I may have renamed it to the Rook versus Pawn Part 1. The correct answer is to take the pawn with check and try to entice the white king to the F file where you could backdoor and get the X-ray attack. Something like this. Well, not like that, but now if white does that, black has time to do this, right? Now in the Saavedra position, what happens is white does a dance with the rook and doesn't enter onto the F file until he reaches F2. Something like this. And he gets the victory, right? Now that's a tough win for white. So you decide to do this. You're not going to give up without a fight here. Right? Now all of a sudden, you notice how your king just happens to be well positioned for something here. You realize you could actually win the game. Exactly. And if white decides to do this, how should black play? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And he wins the game. You see? Now, the move for white to hold the draw in this particular position is, of course, just to step his king back up to protect the pawn so that when black moves his rook to f1, white king is in position to protect the pawn and he gets to draw.